I call this meeting to order. Committee members and administration, please confirm your attendance when I call your name. Vince Marcotte? Maria Ferraro?
Here.
Valentina Bernoni?
Here.
Jim Boscario? Christina Bursick, Manager of Planning and Development?
Present.
Alan Burgess, Supervisor of Planning and Development?
Here.
Ryan Tufts, Planning Technician and Secretary to the Committee of Adjustment?
Present.
And I'm your Chair, Teresa Nicodemo. I'd like to begin by reading the land acknowledgement statement followed by the appeal notice. We acknowledge that the ground on which we live is in the traditional territory of Caldwell First Nation of the Three Fires Confederacy and the original people of Point Pelee and Pelee Island and its surrounding lands and waters, and that of the Huron-Wendat and Wyandot peoples. We acknowledge and respect the First Nations who are stewards of the land and waters of Turtle Island and who have embraced the stewardship since time immemorial. We would also like to acknowledge the contributions of other nearby First Nation communities and all original people across Turtle Island. The appeal notice. As a result of provincial changes to the Planning Act, only the applicant and select agencies may appeal a decision of the committee or one or more of the conditions which were imposed. Third-party appeals of consent and or minor variance, such as neighbors, abutting property owners, are no longer allowed to be accepted by the OLT. All applications continue to be subject to a 20-day appeal period, and a written request to receive a copy of a decision and the fee for filing an appeal may be obtained from the Secretary-Treasurer. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interests? Seeing none, so noted. And adoption of the minutes from the May 22nd, 2024 meeting. Is there a motion? Moved by Maria, seconded by Vince. All in favor? That's everyone as carried. Mr. Tufts, are there any requests for deferral or withdrawal of any application?
None received.
Seeing none, so noted. First application for consideration is A-06-2024, file 4185. The owner is Philomena Sorge, 6140 and 6146 Malden Road, and it's a minor variance to reduce the angular plane for a new commercial building. And Mr. Burgess to make a presentation on the application.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm actually going to just begin the presentation, and between Al and I will be completing that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So I have a PowerPoint presentation up on the screen, and those online can also follow along. So the application, as mentioned, is A06-2024. It's a minor variance file under 4185. The properties involved are 6146 and 6140 Malden Road, which is located in the northeast corner of Malden Road and O'Meara. The properties are currently two separate properties. They will be consolidated, and during this aerial photo, you can still see that the commercial plaza building and the single-family dwelling were still standing. They've since been demolished. If you've driven past there, you'll notice the area is fenced off with construction fencing, and the buildings have since been cleared as they've received a demolition permit through our building department. The minor variance in particular for this file is for reduction in the angular plane, and we'll get more into those details soon. The existing official plan designation of the property, as you can see on the image on the left, in the yellow shaded area, the property is outlined in red, is mixed use. The current zoning, the parcels are both mixed use too, within our town zoning bylaw. However, the parcel to the north, known as 6140, does have a holding symbol at this time. However, part of going through the site plan process and planning process with the town, they will be making that application further, and there's no impact to the minor variance application of that today. So a little bit more about the zoning bylaw. Within the mixed use 2 zone, There's a requirement where the maximum height is 10.5 meters. However, if the property does have an interior side yard or rear lot line with an abutting property that is within the R1 or R2 zone, angular plane does apply. So in this instance, based on how close the building is located to that interior side yard lot line with the neighbor at 1820 O'Meara, which is directly to the east of 6146 Malden. So a 45-degree angular plane must apply from the property line to the top of the building in order to just assure appropriate setback. So in this instance here, we'll get into it further next further slides. Based on the design wishes of the developer for the building and for the height of the building, they're requesting a 2-meter relief for the angular plane. And I'll pass it on to Alan, and he'll go into some further details on the site.
Thank you, Christina. The site before you this evening, as shown on the image there, is looking at a 2-meter relief for the angular plane as it applies to the area in green. The balance of the building is in full compliance with the zoning bylaw and does not require any further relief. That's as a result of various discussions that we've had with the owner in increasing the side yard that they've proposed at this location. And again, as a result of those discussions, we've been able to manage to get it to a 2-meter relief. The property has all the adequate parking, and other factors that are all contemplated here. We did really receive correspondence today with regards to the property. The correspondence was answered by Mr. Tufts, but I just wanted to bring it forward just for the committee's attention. Basically, the comments and the questions were related to the site plan control process more so than what the minor variance is before you this evening. And the only question which really has any impact on the application was whether or not the applicant was able to change or alter the relief for which they were applying for. And the only way which the applicant could change that is that we'd have to re-notify. So no, what they've applied for will be what's either granted or denied by the committee this evening. Next slide. So this is a detail for the committee's benefit and for the audience's benefit, which demonstrates how the angular plane was measured and where it strikes through the building and why they need the relief. One of the unique things about our zoning bylaw is that the parapet walls, which, sorry audience, you won't be able to see this, but the parapet wall, which is the distance from the roof deck to the top of the wall which circles the building, is not included in the angular plane. So the only distance for which they're applying for relief for is basically from the roof deck down to where it strikes the building. And that's the 2 meters for which the angular plane is applied for. The applicant, through their consultants, have also done shadow studies, which in doing those shadow studies, they've shown which there's no significant impact on the dwelling, on the neighboring property, or on any property other than their own, by way of the shadows from this particular structure. The committee is, the staff is in support of the application, and we've brought forward recommended conditions, which include basically removal of the site or of the holding zone from the neighboring property at 6140 Malden. There'll be a site plan control agreement which will deal with issues such as the land conveyances, easements, parkland levies, development charges, servicing parkland, fencing, and the lighting of the site will also be discussed as part of that site plan control agreement. And the applicant has up to 2 years in which to fulfill those obligations. Again, just for the audience's benefit, site plan control is delegated to staff. We will be working diligently with the applicant to address the concerns which have been raised, but it is not an issue for which the committee nor that council deals with at this time. It's dealt with strictly by staff with the applicant. So the committee here this evening is only dealing with the issue of the angular plane and whether the angular plane is minor or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burgess, Ms. Bursick. Melanie Muir, agent, you may now speak to the matter. Please introduce yourself in a brief explanation of your application, and please confirm you have read and understood the staff report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Melanie Muir. I'm from Dillon Consulting. I'm an urban planner and associate there, and I'm acting on behalf of the applicant on this minor variance. We have read through the report, and as Christina and Alan have indicated, we have worked tirelessly with the municipality planning department and the engineering department to try and reduce the requirements of the variance as much as possible. At this point, we're at that maximum point. So we are asking for that 2-meter relief from the angular plane in order to permit a taller portion of the building in the very corner, which will be a restaurant in the future. We are working through the site plan control process as well and have the removal of holding application ready to be submitted as soon as this meeting is complete and hopefully approved. And we will be following through on that process as well. The applicant is eager to get moving on the development, and the development has 6 units, including a restaurant, and will reuse the property for a more appropriate use from what was originally used, that it was used for. As I said, we're in agreement with the report and the recommendations, and I'm here to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you very much. Is anybody present or online who'd like to speak to the application? Does the committee have any questions for Ms. Muir? Does the committee have any questions for administration? Haven't heard any comments or concerns made by administration agencies and the public. Is the committee ready to make a decision, and is there a motion? Okay, moved by Maria, seconded by Valentina, and all in favor? And that's everyone, and that is carried. Thank you, Melanie. Your application has been approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next meeting will be July 17, 2024. Is there a motion to adjourn? Moved by Valentina, seconded by Vince. All in favor? That's everyone. The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.